And greetings, listeners. Once again, Meat Hook Jim here. Stories from the haunt world. And I don't know what I was doing. I don't know how I could have forgotten this because this man that I'm about to talk to, I have known for a long time. And a lot of people know who he is. He has been a cheerleader for the haunt industry since he was in diapers, I think. But I am going to introduce to you somebody that really actually needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. The one, the only, Damien Reaper. Damien, my brother, how are you?
Uh, Getting old, but I still have the color in my hair and less teeth, but I look like meatloaf. So
Yeah,
all you can do is that.
the first time I met you, that's what I said. You look like
That
Meatloaf,
that's what I hear a lot, and you know, now I just look like what he, I guess, does now in the grave.
right? And this was like, oh my gosh, what, 2009, 2010?
Yeah, but would have been around that. You're, I think you were coming in right in 2009, and then 2010. I was a counselor, and I think you were the dean
I
or a
was,
version of the dean.
was.
I think without the mask or you had the mask. I don't remember.
Initially, I had makeup that Bud did, and me and Bud worked with the makeup several times. It changed, but
Yeah,
it's not about me. This is about you, brother.
I know. You know,
So what I want to do is, like I said, this is called Stories from the Haunt World, and if anybody's got stories, it's you, Damien. I mean, you are a legend. People know your name far and wide. Why I haven't brought you on before this is my bad. I'm sorry, but you're here now. So let's talk. Let's talk
mm.
about some of your stories. What are some of your favorite memories? Some of your stories working at Dungeon of Delhi, the Dent Schoolhouse Mall. The platform is yours, my brother.
Well, I mean, I had to write down notes because there's a lot of things I forgot because uh, I lost my mind. But I mean, my first memory of scaring someone in 1998. That was when dinosaurs ruled the age, and uh, before there was I was in a funeral parlor. My old friend Andy Becker, the creep that was from the Dent Schoolhouse, or is that there now, but he got me into it. And I heard these girls, a few rooms away from me, and they come into the headhunter room, which is kind of like I don't know, look like a wannabe, I guess, African tribe, uh, stuff like that. And I was laying down in the coffin and I raised up and hearing them scream, it just like something in me went, okay, this is what I am meant to be doing. And that started off 21 years of, rolling my eyes back, sticking out my tongue, and trying to find my footing of who this character is and how am I going to project making them have nightmares. That's the big thing with me is Uh, I had no clue what I was doing then. It just something just out of body took over me. I was a demon in football, so I knew that I wanted to be in makeup or on stage, but this was my calling. And when I rose up and heard them scream, something just took over me. And then they tried to push the casket over and I almost fell. And then, a time after that, I was in that casket a couple weeks later, and the stage of the casket fell because the wood was rotting. So that was an interesting time. Um, Trying to think of, I mean, meeting Dan Leopold, Faster the Clown, was a great time, and hearing them scream, in couple rooms after me was always very delightful. then working with my father, the evil one, which I'll have stories more from Dent with it because I can't remember much from dungeons. Like many things, everything's like an outer body experience. I know that I was in the room, but the Damien, the character, took over, and where the real self was kind of not there. So it's trying to piece together those fragments right now.
I've got to say, Damien, without a doubt, you are the most committed haunt actor I have ever known. And that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you are 100% Halloween and horror. And,
Just like my old man.
and, you know, not everybody in the business is like that, but you did, you danced to your own drum. You are you, and I admire you for the fact that you're you and not caving into any kind of pressure. You just want to be Damian Reaper.
It's it's just who I am. It's there's a character definitely there, but the larger than life thing came from some type of genuine truth of who I am as a person. Yeah, I am. I always wanted to be rock stars, and Undertaker was one of my top favorite uh, influences. But you know, those things aside, I had to try to morph between from room to room, and that's not easy. And then when people might judge that or whatever, it's the same thing of any actor of going, okay, I'll take my personality and meld it with the room, but mine has an identity, which is Damien Reaper, and that's how I was able to do that. Even going into Blammo, which is a clown, or Scar, which is an inmate, it's still there. It just it's no different from the funeral parlor to Gravedigger. It's not exactly the same guy, but just change the settings and change. Uh, you know, that's just how I was able to operate and work more so like Alice Cooper, being different characters, or Eddie from Iron Maiden, where he would evolve from album cover to album cover. That's all, that I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I was doing well with it because of reviews and people like yourself that has been giving me compliments, and I know that works. And for some people, it doesn't work. It's all it's knowing who you are. That's the most important thing in this business.
Well, I've got to tell you that I've always admired you for your haunt work, always, because you don't break character at all, ever.
Thank you. I mean, like I said, it's Dan Ruan is gone. Damian Reaper is there, and it's part of the thing where it has just something comes over me. I'm not sure if it's you know maybe Damian Reaper's in a parallel dimension taking over my body, but it's definitely it's definitely an honor to do this business, and for years of it being not as respected as what it is today. I came from dungeons where they didn't really care what my name is, to Dent where they kept on thinking Charlie was Freddy Krueger. To see where it is today is good on some ways. Sometimes it's bad because it's become a little bit more commercial. But the idea of it, you know, going still is going to depend on actors and people that love it, and evolving to social media or any ways to get your message out. Come to our show, be the best you can be, and all I've known how to do it is to be genuinely myself.
And you've never let me down in that respect because I think it was months before I actually knew what your real name was.
And that's how I kind of liked it, just because the character. in the name, my identity should be art, nothing else. It's great that people know who Dan is, but Damien is the thing, is the mask that I want to be remembered. And when I go into the grave, they'll say Damien Reaper, Dungeon of Delhi, Tentacle House, Mall, and it is the total package. Whatever bad things are good. That's what I believe in, and that's what Cincinnati is my soul, and that those three are my family, no matter what.
And what I noticed is you try your best to support these younger actors that are coming in with advice and things like that. And people should appreciate, and I think some people do appreciate what you're doing for that because you have always been willing to help anybody who wants to haunt. I mean, regardless of who they are,
Mm-hmm.
even me. I mean, and when I first came in, you were there to welcome me. You were very kind, and you told me that, this is what I think would work, and you know, you're an icon, Damien, and that's the bottom line.
I appreciate it. I don't get my. I guess I don't. I mean, I use it for promoting, but I just see myself as one of the people, and I came from a, like I said, I came from a time where there was no such thing as icons, or I always call people monstars because I watched Space Jam and they used monstars and that sounded good. Because we are the stars of that show. Doesn't mean that I think that we are better than one another. And you know when people would say you know uh, icon, and people would have some type of negativity towards it. I always feel now that it's on them. It's not quite on me. I should feel honored by it, but it took me a while.
Well, you should because I know plenty of people. They may not remember Meat Hook Jim or the unknown scare actor, but they know who the hell Damien Reaper is.
I think I mean with either Dungeons, Dent, or Mall, I think every character has that potential because the actor is the best ever. I think either it being Meat Hook Jim, the Dean, Doctor Decay, or uh, unknown scare actor, any variation that you had, uh, you know, Jim Millspaw at the Big Scary Show, Wrestle Horror, or any type of thing that you've done, it's just as huge as you and Drew and Jerry and Storm, and many of them are the voices of what we do. And just because I am retired currently, uh, never say never. And do I think? I think every character has should be building their brand, collecting their information. I don't have a lot of dungeon stuff, but maybe whoever out there does have it and love to put it out there, and get the Buddy the Bums, Jake Rouse, or Chainsaw Cecil Rouse out there, because they they did it just as much as I did. Uh, but I'm a media whore, so you know,
Well, that's what
getting that one.
that's what gets you out there. You're a media whore. I mean, you're
Yep.
all, and that's not a bad thing.
Nope.
I mean, people know you, Damien. I mean, left, right. I can ask just about any haunt who Damien Reaper is. They're going to know. But you know what? Let's talk about some of your stories. Let's get some stories. That's what this is. Stories from the haunt world. I want to hear, and the listeners want to hear some stories that are memorable for you. That you just, whether it be funny or scary. Let's talk about some stories where you really
All
scared.
right.
Some.
All right. I'll talk about me and my dad, the evil one, Kevin Walker. He's no longer with us. He's in the Great Haunted House in the Sky. And his big whole thing was he's the evil one. I'm Damien Reaper. He would try to hide behind me best he could. I mean, I'm a big guy, but he was a big guy as well. And they would come in, and there's video of it. And they would come in. I would do my spiel of, your pathetic worms and all types of stuff. And he would come out. I'm the evil one, they say. And that would always just, you know, get them going. Then he would hoot and holler. And I even saw him chasing people with a harmonica. Uh, and you know, me and my father. I mean, if Dent Schoolhouse or Dungeons could have had just us two in the haunt, we could have done it. Because both he and I shared the same vision of Halloween is WrestleMania. You get out there and you do the best you can. But with my dad, I knew I could take a little bit a breather room because they always had me in that front room all by myself, and sometimes it was a challenge, sometimes it was easy. I think, but my dad going out there, I'm the evil one, they say, and just making people scream. Or another one is 2012. I was the preacher, and they came in the gate, and I just remember 2333 Viper Z generation, blah blah blah, and the girl falls down and goes into a cradle position. So naturally, I did the sign of the cross, and you know that type of stuff, and uh, just remembering certain things. I mean, Travel Channel coming through
Yeah.
in 2011, I think it was,
Yep.
and them coming in with this. Anytime media came in with the cameras, it was time to ham it up a little bit more than uh, try to get the energy up for it, because you want the haunt, or in our case, mall to look good. So you want those type of situations of them coming in. Uh, didn't matter what room it was, how to scare someone either. Because I always feel that I'm not an actor, I'm a reactor. Because as soon as I say one line, it's the actor, it's the customers that their reaction is how I'm going to play for the rest of the time they come through. Sometimes I get the back person or the middle person scared, but the other people listening to me, so I can say whatever I want and just use you know my medium tone through it. But when I heighten it, then you can do the startle, then the jump scare, and but I can mini miny mo. Doesn't matter really what that part is, but but that's just how I always worked. Is I loved conga lines. People hate them. I loved them because I could just keep going and going and going. I don't reset. So, and that's by me knowing my character and knowing it well enough to fit the room and be myself and kind of combine those type of things. And uh you know I'm trying to remember. I got my cheat sheet here,
That's okay.
uh, because the memory is not as good as it used to be. Uh, but like I knew the idea of traveling actors from in 2003 or 2001. Two guys that were professional zombies came into the dungeon of Delhi, and I didn't know what traveling was. Third 3 years at dungeons. One had the most coolest looking '80s mullet, and when I'm sitting there watching them, met, just do zombie stuff, uh, yelling and screaming was my thing, and then Dad was in there, and it's just kind of working with other people of watching, you know, people go through like they're going through a battle, a war, shrinking down and being scared. And uh, my fourth year of it being a minister that was wearing tights. Me wearing tights is the most scariest thing I can think of, maybe next to Marianne.
I was getting ready to say Marianne. That's kind of frightening.
Yes, especially when I shaved my legs for it.
Ugh,
And
scared me, Damien.
and it was just just finding ways to keep this character going, and I could have gone for it forever. And I think mall was a different type of thing where when you know we could play in people's queue line, which I like too, even though I got kind of worn out with the selfie stuff.
Oh yes, I agree with you.
Trying to do. I mean, I know I'm not Shakespearean actor, but I love acting. You know, people want to take a picture of me. I think there needs to be a specific area for it. And I just remember, you know, Indy Screen Park having this all that gravel, and even though it was hurting my feet, there was a lot to play with there. And Dark View was a fun time when we went up there. I remember this one girl. I think uh, they were all kind of chanting something, and I went to them. I went 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go through the floor, and make them laugh with that. And just or the time when I was in the counselor's office where this Bud Strauss was bringing in this baseball player. He had been taller than you, like 8 foot tall lurch. And so I decided to uh, grab a chair, hoping it would support me. I didn't think about it at the time, but hoping it would support me. I stood on the chair screaming at him, and it was just one of the funniest things. You know, just trying to. It didn't matter who was coming in. It's about giving them the best show possible. If I can scare them, great. If I can make them laugh, great. Uh, if I can make the owner break, beautiful. And with Dave Espek, Joe Mittendorf from Dungeons, or Chuck Strauss, Bud Strauss, Josh Wells from Dungeon Delhi, or yourself, or the late great Jason Henry. If I can entertain you guys and make you guys happy at what I'm doing, I knew I was doing very well.
Well, I got to say, you never disappointed ever because of your commitment to the haunt world and what you wanted to do. But
Uh,
let me ask you this:
yes,
is there any scare that sticks in your mind where, maybe somebody crapped their pants or peed? What is a good scare that you remember where you accomplished something that's important?
I remember in a dead schoolhouse. I think it was the either first or third year. I can't remember, but it was in the graveyard. And I remember because the gates, there would be security people at the gate, and they would push through one person and close the door behind them. And of course, myself, 5'8", 300 pounds of pure darkness. They
Right?
pushed in a 12-year-old kid, and that kid's eyes looked like saucers. And if I would have went 1 foot forward, I mean, he was screaming, banging on the door. I didn't have to do anything. And the kids start climbing the fence, and I'm yelling, "Mike, Mike, you gotta!" The kid's trying to. If I would have stepped one more foot forward, he would have went up to the moon.
You've had so many scares and your experience, Damien. I mean, again, I can't repeat enough. You're a legend in this business. Um, and you are one of the purest haunters I've ever known. You show it every time you get out there. I mean, you don't break character. You're 100% in. I remember when the Travel Channel came through, and you were in the auto shop,
Yep.
and there's a great scene where you're just tearing into the people that come by the car there. I mean, I
Yep.
can't get that. I've got that still on a disc someplace.
Yep. It's on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. Um, to me, I look like a chicken with its head cut off, pecking at someone. And the you know, and I took a cue from Kirby and uh blew on their necks to get that last shot, and uh just seeing them jump and I just there's just something about that time period where I wish my grandparents were around to see it, and my mom's blind so she couldn't see it, but she did hear me and uh very proud of me, and just something about that one girl. And uh, another great story is Shane Howard from RIP Sideshow talks about this being his favorite story of me, and with Maul down at the haunted hospital, walking a scared little girl through the haunted hospital, and her mother was like, she was getting all puffy about the girl not wanting to go into the haunted house, and I have a bad spine, and I knew that it was getting close to them going to the car, and I just could not let this girl an opportunity for the actors to do their job. So I toned it down a little bit, held the little girl's hand, and with quite a much pain, leaning over trying to hold this girl's hand, I wanted to make sure that she went through with a happy experience. And something that's really rare in our industry because they always tell you to push, push, push. I came from dungeons, and the idea of a little young person hating Halloween is unacceptable. And I wanted to make sure this girl's, experience is smiles. And she gave me a hug that day or that night, and she was strong enough to go through it. And then that's Halloween to me. That's why we do what we do.
Okay. You know, I could go on and on about some of your accomplishments. I mean, you won the Jason Henry Award among things, and God love Jason. I missed that man so much.
I'm, I do too.
I mean, he was the heart and soul, and when we lost him, it was hard for all of us, but we tried to push through, and we did for a couple of years.
Yeah, we did.
We were able
And
to push through, but Jason was just, and I remember, it gets me because I remember Jason going, Reaper!
it Reaper, then chaos. And there was, every time we did that, either at Dent or with Maul, uh, it was it was our way of acknowledging each other. He always said that uh, I was one of the reasons why he started Maul, and I'm very blessed. I think yourself, Dan Leopold, Rebecca Minges, Troy Boddock, Kirby Hilliard, um, Nate Deadwood, uh, and others that started it. I mean, there was nothing that made me more excited about something was that first video you guys did uh, at, at some haunt, and it was just like, okay, this is who we are, and this is what we're gonna do. And seeing Jason, in that video, and that, it brings tears, but we did something uh, that was a risk of leaving a big attraction to doing our own thing, and that's something we all should be taking pride of. It didn't, you know, just because of things ending does not mean it failed. That's
Right.
one thing that I'll say with everybody in this, and Maul and yourself included. He would want us to be happy,
Yes.
happy with what we're doing. The spirit of Malwart runs through our veins as much as with people that knew him from Dent or Dungeons or in the haunt community. We're a part of chaos.
I agree 100%, and you know, really we should have invited you to get the tattoo that me and Kirby got
Oh, that would be my first one. Yeah, one day I will.
because Kirby has it on his leg. I have it on my shoulder, and it's a phoenix rising from the ashes with his name and his date of death.
Well, I think I remember it on the mall website. Uh, which if you go on the wayback.com, you can go back to see all those old websites. And I saw that the Phoenix there. So I'm very familiar with that. And I believe you guys showed me too. And I wish I was there. I didn't have as much of a phobia with needles as I do now from being in the hospital recently.
I
But,
understand.
you know, at least it didn't put it in my rear end.
I gotcha. Well, time's drawing short here, Damien, because I do have a limit on my um, segment. But let's get one more good story from you. What really sticks in your mind?
Trying to remember. Um, um, I just remembered the whole thing. And though, I can go to, a time, a place, the good times or the bad times, which was both.
Right.
But one thing I'll say is my experience, if it wasn't for Dungeon of Delhi, I would not be doing this. Without the Dent Schoolhouse, I would not be known. Without Mall, I wouldn't be able to have seen the expansion of this industry. And I'm very even if I seem very jaded, or if I have comments about the negativity, the positivity is what we did to shape Cincinnati, including with places like St. Rita's, Night of Fright, all those type of places. We all did this great thing of Halloween, and even if I do it again, great. If I don't go out there and act anymore, that's okay too. There's people out there that are holding the flag. People like Max uh, from Dent that is doing things with the Ohio Association of Haunters. I might have screwed up the whole thing, but even though I could list some, if it wasn't for those big three, I would not be here today with you. And even though I'm very talking about the good stuff and bad, the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff. The
Absolutely.
bad stuff we can all fix, including myself.
Yes. Agree. So, I've got to say, you again, once you are a legend in this business, and a lot of people know you, and they're gonna know you even more after this interview. But why don't you? Is there? Are you still? I know you're putting out videos. Is there some way people can find out more about you, and maybe there's some haunt actors there that might want some, advice from the man, the myth, the legend, Damian Reaper. I mean, what do you got?
Yes, there's plenty of things where you can see me from. There's a Facebook page, Damien Reaper, either Legacy or Legend of Damien Reaper. I'm out there. War of Nightmares, which is a celebration of all three haunts, and you're more welcome anybody to come in and send your character to me, and you add it to my stories. The Cult of Diamond's Eye, which is an idea of uh, a person's looking at themselves in a mirror, they see a star, and I would like to get people's point of views of their history, the ups and downs of haunting, not a straight up. slagging of people or companies, but going, yeah, this is my good times and bad times. We can all fix it. Let's try to narrow down the bad stuff and try to fix for the future. There's what pages and websites of that. You can look up War of Nightmares, Damien Reaper, or Cult of Diamonds Eye, Damien Reaper. I'm still existing, but I'm just existing in a lower type of way. Uh, and and before I go, everybody support your local haunted houses and get out there and get scary.
I couldn't put it better myself, Damien. And I tell you, brother, I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm glad I got you on here.
Oh, I it's an honor. I kind of wanted to wait for others, especially from our groups, to get on here and listen to them because I I had been on this wonderful show, Wrestle Horror, your previous incarnations of the show, other shows. I'm on all those reviews and stuff. People, hearing Mikey Four Eyes or Chris or I mean Bud's everywhere, but and but people from I would like to hear from on here Kirby and Danny and uh many people from all side. I try to get people to contact you and get to hear their stories because, like I said, my mind's a little bit more jaded and faded because I'm in character trying to remember that stuff. I needed videos and people to help me uh, say it. So, as Ozzy would say, the late great Ozzy, I love you all. But you all drive me fucking mad.
That he did. I mean, God bless Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness.
That's right.
We're all
He's
gonna
on my shirt.
what an amazing character he was. But Damien, once again, let me thank you so much, my brother, for coming on to the show and talking to me about your life and your haunting and some stories out there. Um, keep doing what you do, brother. If it's just supporting the younger actors, do it, man, because I know you're more than capable of supporting the younger actors and any younger actors out there that might want to get some tips or a little bit of insight. This man is an encyclopedia of haunting business. So reach out to him, Damien Reaper. I mean, it don't take much to find him.
Nope. Look for Meatloaf. I'll do anything for love.
With that being said, my friend, it has been so wonderful to have you on here. And I look forward to chatting with you again. And I hope everybody else enjoys this and have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Good night and rest in damnation.
Haunters around the world, Meat Hook Jim here, and I'm reaching out to you because I want your stories. You know, Between the Corpses has covered a lot of things from phobias to cryptids to torture and execution. But now I want to focus on the haunt world. I want to focus on you, the actors, the managers, the trainers. I would love to hear stories from the haunt world. Now is the opportunity for you to share your stories in your own words with me, Meat Hook Jim, on Between the Corpses Presents Stories from the Haunt World. If you're interested, please reach out to me at meathookjim@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on the Big Scary Show Facebook page, and we will get you on the air, and I can't wait to hear some of the stories that are out there. I mean, I've just given a small sampling so far, so wow, I can't wait. If you're interested, reach out to me. I would love to have you on the show.